All human beings put together, all jinn, from the time of Adam alayhi salam to the day of Qiyamah, if they came together and they tried to make one living cell, one living cell, they would not be able to make it. Because that power Allah has kept only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes human beings get confused by some miracles Allah gives to certain human beings, including prophets. Such miracles were given to Isa alayhi salam, that he could make a bird out of clay and blow in it, and it will become a bird, and it will start flying. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, by each of these miracles, Allah says, by our command, by our command, by our command. And guess what, my respected brothers? The scholars say that when Isa alayhi salam made this bird and he blew into it, and the bird would fly for a certain period of time and it would die. Every bird that he was able to create this way would fly for a while and it would die. None survived. So he asked, Ya Allah, why this is the case? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replied to him through wahi and said that, "O Isa, we have given you the miracle where the bird can be created, but we have not created the rest of the bird." And the bird tries to find the rest, find, and finds nothing, and it will die. So the risk of every creation of Allah is predetermined. Allah has already created the risk before the creation was created. Allah created the risk. The human being is worried about it, something that Allah has already created. And he's making all the mujahidah, all the sacrifice to get the risk Allah has written. Ajib. Our job, my respected brothers, in this world is to make effort to understand who Allah is. That's when we will become better as a human being. If we don't understand, my respected brother, even if we have a billion, not a million, a billion, we will be, as they say in Urdu language, we will be kanjus, maki chus. Why? Because I am looking at my khazana, I am looking at my treasury, and I am saying it will be depleted if I use it. But if I am looking at the khazana of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will never be worried. Like Sahaba radiallahu anhum. They were the people who showed to the world what generosity means. Spending everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and very happy with it. That Allah has accepted. So, my respected brothers, as human beings, we have been created with certain faculties, and all of these faculties, every single faculty Allah has given to this human being is only and only and only to serve Allah. Even serving human beings has to be for the sake of Allah, otherwise you can do all the khidmat of all the creation, and if it is not for the sake of Allah, we will get zero. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who don't believe in Allah, all their rewards will be given in this world and they will have nothing in the hereafter. And giving anything in this world, my respected brothers, is no sign of the blessings of Allah. Because Allah's blessing, Allah has created for the hereafter, which is permanent. The blessings of this world are temporary. Whatever I have will be finished. If the whole world is going to be finished, what about my blessings? Recently, we were renovating the house, so we stripped it down to the walls. And it's a very large brick wall. And then we happened to look at the deeds. And we looked at the papers and it says it was built in 1907. Subhanallah. And I looked at myself and I laughed and I said, these bricks must be looking at me and laughing. I am saying this house is mine. And the bricks are laughing. I said, many before you have said the same thing and they're gone. Many made the same claim as you're making, that this is mine. And the bricks are saying, I'm still here and many of you are gone. Those who claimed it was mine. So my respected brothers, we are living in a very temporary world with lots of blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for a believer, if he doesn't put the best energy to understand what Allah wants, then he is wasting his time. No matter how intelligent he is, no matter how zaheen he is, no matter how much effort he is making, all the effort put together will not make him a successful person. Only and only when he submits his will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and does the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will make him successful. Without any means, Allah will make him successful. Most of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam sent on this earth were not sent with any asbab. They were not sent with any means. Excepting maybe one or two. Most of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam were not sent with any asbab. To show to the whole world that the success depends on Allah and nothing else. To the tyrants of the world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a prophet. Ajib, my respected brothers, when we start thinking, what is the khudrat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose a prophet. Allah chose a prophet to be ham kalam, to have direct conversation with Allah. And which Nabi did he choose? He chose a Nabi that could not speak properly and he had a stutter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not choose the most eloquent prophet to speak to him directly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose Musa alayhi salam, and Musa alayhi salam is admitting when this responsibility of prophethood was given to him, he said, Ya Allah, repair my speech. Because he understood that he had stuttered. And Allah chose such a prophet to talk to him. Wow. Just on this particular occasion, I want to just bring it down all the way to our time. Tabligh means to speak from your tongue. Linguistically, it is to speak. Balagh comes from speaking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose such a person in our time, who could not speak properly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose Sayyidina Ilyas rahimahullah, who used to get frustrated because he could not say the words properly. To do what? To do tabligh in the whole world. Allah is showing his qudrat. We don't need eloquent speakers. It is we who can communicate the message. It's not you. With all your handicaps, we can take such work from you that you have no understanding of. That shows his power. A human being looks at the external and starts thinking that I am powerful or I have this. No, my respected brother, Sahaba understood this and they submitted. Ya Allah, power belongs to you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with no food, no weapons, no nothing, Allah made them successful and made them such success that the greatest of armies could not withstand them. That situation is for us also, my respected brothers. If we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and put our efforts in correcting our situation with Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah will make the skies and the earth musakhar to us. It's a promise of Allah. Believers are not understanding this promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am trying to think that I need to acquire the material wealth to become successful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, connect with me. Today, my respected brothers, most of our effort is for what? Sorry for speaking like this, but I'm just trying to open an analogy for you. Most of our effort is for what? For the zeros of the world. Most of our effort is for the zeros of the world. Perhaps you didn't get my analogy. Every one of us who is sitting here has got one. Every one of us have got one. But we are not satisfied with it. We say, I want a few more zeros. And if I have 3, I say, mashallah, not bad. But if I have 6, now I'm doing very well. Now if I have 9, oh mashallah, I'm not even able to see downstairs because mashallah, my zeros are so high. So we are competing with each other and says, how many zeros you have, brother? Oh mashallah, you have 7. Oh, I have 9. I have 9 zeros. And the entire world is running after these zeros. And everybody is feeling happy that now in my digital bank balance, I have 6 zeros. I'm very comfortable now. Oh no, 6 are not doing the job, now I need 9. The society is now moving towards 9 zeros. The competition is for this. Even in this particular analogy that I just gave you, if you take out the 1, not the 9, 100 zeros are still zeros.